On April 5th this month, Frances Cobain took to Instagram to post a tribute to her father, Kurt. In the Instagram post, she wrote, "30 years ago, my dad's life ended. The second and third photo captured the last time we were together while he was still alive." Frances began sharing a story about how her grandmother said that her hands resembled her rock star father's hands. The first photo in Frances Cobain's Instagram post is a photo of her father's hands taken by Michael Stipe. His mom, Wendy, would often press my hands to her cheeks and say with lulling sadness, "You have his hands." She would breathe them in as if it was her only chance to hold him just a little bit closer, frozen in time, she wrote. I hope she's holding his hands, wherever they are. This post would seemingly confirm the passing of Kurt's mother, Wendy, who, according to a few obituaries out there, passed away on June 5th, 2021, at her home in Sedona, Arizona. I can't find any articles posting about the death of Wendy, however Frances, referring to her in the past tense, seems to confirm that Wendy has indeed passed away. A few months after Kurt's tragic death in 1994, his mom agreed to an interview with Entertainment Weekly. In this article, she said, "Kurt and I were like twins. We never did get that umbilical cord cut. When I would think of him, he would call me. It was really weird. I loved his music. He would play his drums for me. He was a drummer before he was a guitarist, and I would just be so on it. He thought I was just being his mother. Kurt and I used to be goofy together. We'd have these little laughs, but then he stopped laughing, and that's what really flew the red flag up for me. That it really was getting serious. Kurt's problems were ongoing, and we struggled with them for years. I talked him through so many nights. He was probably a or undiagnosed depressive, which runs in my family. My grandfather, I would say, died from that, because he tried to commit suicide and eventually died from the injuries. Also, manic depression is a progressive disease. Once you get past a certain stage, it's almost unmanageable, even with antidepressants. I know now in hindsight that the sleeping he was doing in his teenage years, he was sleeping so much, but that was also masked by just being a teenager. But now I look back and go, aha, that was the very beginning of it. And of course, once they leave home, they're out of your control. He would call me crying and he would always call when he got desperate. And in the last week he didn't call. That was horrible, because I knew. People have asked me, aren't you angry at Kurt for taking such a cheap way out, for leaving Frances and you? And I said no, not at all. People don't understand what depression is. The way I explain it is, have you ever been hit in the stomach and lost your breath? It's a horrible, panicky situation. Can you imagine being in that state of mind, in that state of anxiety and fear for years? He was a wonderful person, but he just couldn't stand the pain anymore. That's why I'm not angry at Kurt. One thing I envied about Kurt and Courtney was how uninhibited they were with Frances. She's such a brilliant little girl. Like 2 going on 4, I worry about what's going to happen when she gets older, and people are talking about her parents. They will say stuff about them without even knowing them. And so much that was written about Kurt was wrong. I just hope the truth sustains her. I taught Frances a part of the Nirvana song Heart-Shaped Box. Kurt cried when she sang it to him the first time. She doesn't sing it much anymore. But there's a big tapestry downstairs of Jesus, and we go down there and she says, "Daddy?" I go, "Well, he kind of looks like Daddy." She talks to it. She tells him all the things that happened during the day. Wendy and Courtney Love both parented Frances in Kurt's absence. Wendy would often be seen with Frances and would make a short speech when Nirvana was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame back in 2014.
I'm probably gonna cry. I'm already crying. Because he'd be so proud. He'd say he wasn't, but he would be. I just miss him so much. He was such an angel. Thank you.
Kurt and his mother had a very complex relationship, but wherever they may be now, hopefully they are at peace.
I wish I was like you, easily amused. There's a lyric about me being an easily amused baby.
Cobain's daughter, Frances, his sister and mother, opened an exhibition in the Newbridge Museum of Style Icons this morning. The family have Irish connections and lent the collection to the museum for the summer.
Chim Chim!
Poor monkey. I know. He lost an ear. That's awesome.
Frances Bean Cobain is Kurt and Courtney Love's only child together.
Never did find the bottom of that.
Do you know that Kurt and Courtney actually had a monkey for a hot minute? They had a monkey for a hot minute.
That doesn't surprise me.
No, they got rid of it, but they had one.